For today's video, rather than the usual begging for votes that I normally do for the Statesboro Film Festival in my particular entry, which you'll find all the details down in the information box below, I wanted to go over some of the I call them necessary accessories for the T2i. It's really pretty much just the stuff you'll see me with if you see me with the camera out loose. These are the things I think are important, and I don't believe that are overdone when you're out carrying the camera. I see an awful lot of rigs that are just way more than I'd ever want to be seen in public with. A lot of guys think you need something like that to make the camera look quote-unquote professional. I'm more interested in what goes in and then comes back out. But I've narrowed it down to a few things, and I'm going to show you those right now. The most important one is what I consider the battery grip. And I've had that since I first got the camera, and it really makes this little rascal a lot easier to handle. Not to mention it gives you the extra power of 2 batteries. So you can shoot for a lot longer, and if you happen to be out someplace, you don't have to worry about having to charge the thing back up as quickly as you might normally. The next one is this little hand grip, which is more like what you'd find on a camcorder. Now, I love that because it gives me a nice solid grip on the camera, and it just screws right onto the bottom. It also has a port on the bottom, the 1/4 inch by number 20 thread, so you can set that on your tripod. Another one that I just recently bought is the lens hood. Now, the lens hood I bought was a 72mm thread design, or thread size, because the biggest lens that I have is this T2i zoom. And it's got a 72mm muzzle, or whatever you call it. So I bought that and a series of the little adapter rings. Now, just everything that I've told you about so far can be found on eBay and can be found relatively inexpensively. Now, the battery grip's only about $35. Everything else is in the under $10. So I'm not talking about real expensive stuff here. As far as the lens that I've got on here now, I think this one is pretty much my favorite. It's a T2i as well, but it's a 28mm lens, and I use it for just about everything. It's got a maximum aperture of 2.8, and it goes all the way up to 16, or all the way down, if you will. And I can use it for just about everything. That's not to say I don't like my 50s, and even the kit lens that came with it, and the big zooms and everything else. So lenses are an entirely different aspect. That's a personal choice as to what you like to use. But I made sure that I had adapter rings so I could put my lens hood on all of them. Now, the lens hood, of course, helps keep a lot of extraneous light from getting into your shots. It also protects me when I've got the microphone on it from fur showing up in the shot, because it tends to stick out just a little bit further. Now, let's get down to the fur that's on there. A while back, maybe about a year or so ago, I did a video about making a wind blimp for a shotgun microphone. And at that time, I literally made it out of a cricket box that you would use for fishing. Well, I found since that that's really not all that necessary. As long as you have the windscreen that came with the microphone, and in this case, that's an ATR 55 made by Audio-Technica. I bought it on eBay for about 50 bucks. There's a lot of different ones in all price ranges, whichever one you feel comfortable with. The piece of fur I bought at a local hobby shop and just pinned it in such a way that it's folded over. And I found that rather than going to all the trouble of putting that big wire blimp on here with the pieces of foam, as long as I've got the windscreen on it, I can just take the folded piece of fur and slide that rascal on, and 99% of the time I don't have any extraneous noise getting in. So, who knew? That's a lot easier to deal with. Now, the last thing that I want to point out is this little riser. And hopefully you're seeing a picture of it right now up close. This is a neat little accessory because you can use it for a lot of things. I'm using it here to separate the microphone from the camera because I don't want that fur getting into the shot. And it gives me about 3.5 inches, maybe 3 inches or so. There's also another nice little accessory that's this little screw plate that's down there at the bottom. And again, you're probably seeing a picture of that. Overall, you're not going to spend a lot of money on these things, and they're the kind of accessories that aren't just for show, but really help when you're out shooting. Now, as far as the other thing, I really need you to go to the Statesboro Film Festival site. I know I say this every day. And take a look at our movie, Dark Forest. And if you haven't registered to vote, please do so. And you can vote 20 times. 20 times. I don't know why that is, but you can vote 20 times per day. And that's all the way up until the 20th of April. That's the day before the Statesboro Film Festival event. And yeah, I'm going to be back every day talking about it. Either I will or Mo the cat will be here. And he couldn't do this because he really doesn't understand all this stuff. And I'll have some more details for you in our next video.